Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by saying if I would not get flagged for copyright infringement, best believe you would be entering this video with Kool in the Gang Celebration playing, because after a year of political turmoil, prices going up, rights getting stripped away, due process just being ignored, it feels so amazing that we have a self-proclaimed democratic socialist, Zohran Mamdani, now elected mayor of New York City. At a time, guys, where we had establishment Democrat Andrew Cuomo, someone who most Democrats nationwide are fed up with, versus what looks like the future of the party and a progressive candidate. For him to come out on top despite the racist attacks against him, the Islamophobia, the fear mongering. This election, I know a lot of you felt this way with talking to you guys on social media. It gives me hope for the future of the country. And it's the first time I've really felt hope in really over a year in this country. So that's pretty exciting. And guys, it's not just the fact that a progressive one or a democratic socialist won. It's that we have someone now who has, in the Democratic Party, who has that charisma, who is able to connect in a way most Democrats, quite frankly, can't, especially the Democratic, more establishment candidates. But we also have someone who is willing to take on Trump head on, which is something that Democrats have been clamoring for since Trump has basically rose into power.
So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up. We will hold bad landlords to account because the Donald Trumps of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants. We will put an end to the culture of corruption that has allowed billionaires like Trump to evade taxation and exploit tax breaks. We will stand alongside unions and expand labor protections because we know, just as Donald Trump does, that when working people have ironclad rights, the bosses who seek to extort them become very small indeed.
You gotta love it. That force, that energy. This is what the future of the Democratic Party will hopefully look like. Now, some of the kind of fear mongering I mentioned before we heard him take on Trump head first. What you guys have heard is like communist, socialist, whatever. All of these random labels. What I'm going to tell you is the actual policies he is fighting for, because that is what is relevant. The fear mongering, the millions of dollars in propaganda is irrelevant. What is he actually trying to do? And let me know if you guys think this is the most dramatic, crazy thing you've ever heard. First thing, and these are in no particular order, is freezing rent and making housing affordable. How is that not a working class, everyday working American value there? To make housing affordable so you're not drowning in rent and mortgage payments, right? That seems like a great policy for most Americans. Free buses, right? So people can get from point A to point B easily. I know, guys, personally, when I was in college, I was actually commuting through the DC Metro Rail, and my first 3 hours of work were just to pay my commute to get to work and back home. So I was basically working 3 hours for free just to transit, and then I would have the rest of the money afterwards. So guys, free busing, it can be done. It has been done in a lot of places. I know Denver, for instance, does free busing once a month, or during the summer months, for instance, to help with travel. So that is something, and we'll explain a little bit how a lot of this is going to be paid for. City-owned and affordable groceries. Once again, guys, I don't know how many of you have gone to the grocery store and compared the price of groceries like even a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago to what you're paying now. It is astronomical, and there needs to be government intervention clearly so that groceries can be affordable again, and a city-owned grocery store is a clear solution to that. He also wants to raise the minimum wage. Now, the minimum wage in New York City is higher than the federal minimum wage, but the fact that the federal minimum wage, guys, still sits at $7.25 is insane. I'm going to look up right now what the New York City minimum wage is, but it is $16.50, it looks like, per hour, which if any of you have lived in New York City or just have a general idea of how expensive it is to live there, $16.50 per hour is not a sustainable wage in New York City. So he wants to raise that. And overall, guys, he is going to do this by doing something voters are clamoring for, basically, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, which is raising taxes on the rich. And that is a huge, guys, just proponent of what has drove this campaign, is he has said over and over again, we are tired, and he is kind of speaking for the average American, right? Me, you, a lot, millions and millions of people out there. We are tired of our hard work and our labor, not being proportionately given back to us through salary. And what happens often, guys, is all that hard work from the Amazon workers, the Uber Eats delivery drivers, people working at restaurants, people working at farms, wherever it may be. A lot of that hard labor funnels and that money goes disproportionately to the top. Now, one of the ways you address that is you tax the rich so that money is distributed widely so people have safety nets and people have opportunities to get out of more difficult situations. So he is really leaning into this. As you can tell from my consistent smile, I'm pretty excited to see how this will play out in New York City. Now, some of the downsides, because I try to look at both sides of everything, guys. So scrolling through, doing some reading, I'll be very honest. A lot of the downsides I see about this in terms of like making buses free, making things more affordable, simply seems to come from an ideology of like, oh, things are always this way. Or like, no, this is too good to be true, which makes me think like a bunch of us have just given up on the idea of things can be better than what they currently are. Guys, other countries have a lot of the things Zohran is proposing, yet those other countries have far less wealth than we do. These things are possible, but there are millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars of propagandized infrastructure put in place. So me, you, average Joe, right, thinks that these things aren't possible, right? We don't think we can go into a healthcare facility and just get care without thinking first, how much is this going to cost me, right? But medical debt is a uniquely American issue. So I just hope we are moving towards a stage where we understand, guys, the systems are created by people, so therefore people can fix them. Right? It's not like things happen randomly. They are intentional and they are done by human design. So I really don't like even really address that ideology because it's just such giving up. Guys, things can be better. We need to demand better out of our elected representatives. And that is the point that we are at and what we are seeing with a lot of these elections. Because it wasn't just Zohran, guys. The Democrats swept across the United States in virtually every single election. You had Spanberger winning the election for governor of Virginia, the first female governor in Virginia's history. You also had Jones winning as the first black attorney general in Virginia. You had Sherrill being elected governor of New Jersey, also a Democrat. Sheffield being the Detroit's first ever female mayor as well. And then you also, guys, this isn't someone specifically getting elected, but Prop 50, which has to do with the redistricting maps in California in response to the Texas gerrymandering. So shout out for Democrats actually having a response rather than just sitting there being like, oh, Texas, that is bad. We are just going to let you do it and not do anything about it. So shout out to them actually doing something. That Prop 50 passed, so that is likely to pick up more Democratic seats also. So as a whole, guys, as we are celebrating this victory, I think, and those of you listening probably think this too, Democrats, the path is abundantly clear. What the people want is they want you to stop taking large money donations. They want you to stop taking money from AIPAC, and they want you to actually deliver on policies that will help everyday people. Healthcare, right? Lowering the price of groceries, affordability, taxing the rich. These are the policies that people are clamoring for. and also many Republicans are clamoring for. There are Republican town halls where people are screaming tax the rich as well. So really, guys, Democratic Party just comes down to, are they going to stay establishment moving forward? Are they going to keep catering to their big dollar donors and continue to lose in establishment races? Or are they going to back the progressive wing? Are they going to back policies that actually help people and not the corporate elites and actually win elections? The path is clear. I guess we will see how it works out. Thank you for watching and being part of a growing progressive community. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have the time, check out some of my other episodes you can see around me. Thank you.